we wanted to come up with a topic where we wanted to see that how we can connect AI on a daily use case, right? So that's why we decided, okay, having a topic which will be able to use everybody, not just from academics or students context, but anybody who belongs to from any industry would be able to use this particular learning experience. So let me just share the screen and we will start from there. Can somebody please confirm if you are able to see my screen? If you can please mention in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me start with introducing myself and from there we'll start. So my name is Tausif Mulla. I'm a full-time faculty with Symbiosis International University in Dubai. I belong to the Media and Communication department. About me, I started my career in marketing. So the first 7 years I've spent in marketing, and the last 8.5 years has been in academia, working with two separate institutes in UAE. So currently, I'm taking care of marketing, media communication, and these courses. So that's about me, and obviously you can connect with me on LinkedIn to know me better. And just one phrase which I can talk about, where I'm able to relate to a lot of people is, I call myself as a marketer turned educator because I come from both the backgrounds and I try to bring the best of both. All right. Now, before we start, I want everybody to take this poll. Okay, if you can use your phones and please use this QR code and let me know. And I'll also share the output of this particular poll. So please firstly use this QR code and please take your poll. Okay, let's see what the results are now. Okay, so currently what I see, as you can see on my screen, like maximum people, I think so almost everybody, 100% have mentioned that they use ChatGPT, right? And I think so most of us, even when we also discuss in the classroom, like most of my students also, they have the same response that they mentioned ChatGPT. But I'm sure that you are aware that there are different AI tools. ChatGPT is one of them, right? So what I'm going to do today is, in this particular workshop, I'm going to give you a practical idea of how you can use different AI tools for different workflow that you'll have. Okay, so with that, let me start with the first one now. Now, the way I've planned this session is that, first for 10 minutes, I'm going to briefly talk about key aspects about using AI on a day-to-day basis, right? And then I'm going to take each tool and then I'll start discussing about how do we use these tools. Okay, so first is a quick comparison of all the tools that are available for us, right? ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a good tool if you want to brainstorm your ideas. If you want to just have a conversation with AI, then ChatGPT would be the best one. It's very easy to use, and I think so most people are comfortable using ChatGPT, right? So that's the first one. Second is Claude. Claude, it belongs to this company called Anthropic. Okay, Claude, a best use case for Claude would be when you have large files, right? Text files basically, and you want to do analysis. So in that case, Claude would be the best one. In my personal use case, for my research papers, for my research ideas, I personally use Claude and not ChatGPT. Third is Perplexity. If your objective is to do some deep analysis about companies, about companies or about industries, about some analysis of a stock that you want to do, right? In that case, Perplexity would be the best use. Then comes Gemini. Gemini is best suited for if you are working within the Google Workplace domain, right? So most companies, at least in the UAE, they have Google Workplace where your email and everything is taken care by Gmail, right? So in that particular case, Gemini will be the best option. And then you have Notebook LM, which also belongs to Google. Okay, now the interesting thing about Notebook LM with comparison with Gemini is Notebook LM will only work with your sources that you will provide. So it will not work with external sources, right? So whatever sources that you will provide, be a PDF file, a Word document, a PowerPoint presentation, or a YouTube video, it will only answer from that particular source, right? And specifically for academics, this is a great tool that I'll show you in a while how we can get the best out of this tool. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention is that if you have some queries, please mention in the chat box. So once I'm done with a particular part of the session, then I'll take all the queries and I'll be able to answer your questions there. Okay. Now, why this particular workshop? What's the need of this? Firstly, as I always say in my class as well, that today AI is no longer optional. It has become mandatory, right? Yesterday we had a session at our campus where the ambassador of India to the UAE, he also emphasized on this aspect that in school curriculums now the talks are going on that they would want to implement AI in the curriculum as well, right? So that clearly tells that today AI is not an option. It's not something that only people from IT background should be well versed with. Everyone from any domain that you belong to, you need to understand how to make the best use of AI. So that's one. Second is most professionals that I personally seen and interacted with, they're not utilizing AI to its fullest capacity. All right. So people are just barely using it for paraphrasing the text, writing emails, and generating some text for your questions. That's about it, right? But as we all know that AI is more than that. So today I'll do an attempt or make an attempt to show you the different use cases. And the last one is not all AI tools are equal. As I've already mentioned, in that most people are comfortable using ChatGPT only, right? But there are other tools as well. So unless you explore these tools, you will not understand or you will not know that okay, this particular tool is relevant for this particular scenario. Right? So that is one of the things. So basically, these are the three reasons why I thought that this workshop would be relevant for all of us. Now, one thing which again I want to emphasize is that now this is my personal suggestion and recommendation to all of you is that at least subscribe to one AI tool, a paid AI tool or a paid plan of an AI tool. Okay. Now, why I'm saying is because you can get decent amount of output from the free tier that they offer. But if you want to get the best output, right, and specifically, they just want you to, the limit should not hinder your progress and your productivity. So in that case, it's better to at least subscribe for one paid tool so you will be able to use it to its full potential. Okay. Now again, this is a suggestion. It's not mandatory for you to do it, but if you do that, great. Now, what's in this particular session? What do I plan to cover? So there are three things that I focus on. Okay, first let me talk about what I'm not going to touch upon. If you're somebody who's well versed with AI tools, experience in you also have a good experience in programming languages, then in this particular case, I'm not going to be beneficial for you. Okay, this particular session because I'm not going to get into the technical side of it. I'm only going to focus on the user side of it. Okay, so this particular session will focus on some practical and repeatable use cases that you can use on a day-to-day basis. I'll demo a few of the tools that I've talked about in terms of how you can use in different contexts. And I do understand not everybody is from academic background. So I will also try to fit like how you can make use of, let's say if you're a school teacher, how do you plan to use it? Or if you're somebody working marketing domain, how can you use it? So I'll give you different scenarios. And the third thing is I'll focus on efficiency, thinking, and most importantly, decision support. How you can use AI tools for making decisions. Now, decisions can be any form of decisions at your work, or I will not recommend your personal choices decisions, but something related to your work or would definitely be helpful. All right. The last thing that I want to touch base before we get into the demo part is safety and ethics part. Very, very important. Never share sensitive personal information with any AI tool, no matter how much they talk on the website about ethics and so on. Do not share. And what do you mean by personal sensitive information? For example, your bank's information or something which is very, very personal to you, do not share that. Only things you should share that you are comfortable sharing and you feel that that will help the AI to give you better responses, only then you share it. Verify facts before making important decisions. Very, very important because AI we started using from the last 3 years, right? So it's still a long way to go for AI to become something which we can trust 100% maybe, but at least for now we have not reached that level. So whatever output that you get from any AI tool, please make sure you verify the facts, because AI tools are known to hallucinate and it will throw up things on and off. So please be mindful of that. Third, don't upload confidential work documents. I mean, if you're working for a company where have specifically where it's customer facing, or you are in a domain which has a lot of privacy aspects involved into it, then please do not upload any confidential documents on any AI tool, right? Fourth, understand that these tools can make mistakes, so always verify the output. See if the output is making sense to you. I personally advocate AI use in my classroom as well for my students, but I always make a point that whatever output that you get, please read and see if it's really making sense for you. If it's making sense, great, use it. If not, then please don't, and look for something else. And last and most important is check your workplace and school AI policies, right? Because every organization has a different set of policies. If you're working for a startup and which is into tech domains, obviously they would be more pro towards AI. Versus if you're working for a government entity, they may not be so much comfortable of using a particular tool. So please be mindful of that as well. Right? Now, having said that, so the basic aspects are clear. The first thing that I want to focus is that any AI tool that you use, be it ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever tool that you think of, if you want to get a simple output, but if you want to get a rich output from that AI, always follow this particular prompt, right? The prompt is very simple to remember. Remember it as RCT, all right? Now, R stands for role. For example, if you're using ChatGPT, first mention role and give a role that what do you want ChatGPT to behave like, or to give response like, right? Then give the context. So talk about what exactly things are you going to ask about it and how it's benefit you and so on. And eventually, the last thing should be the task that you want the AI to make use of. Okay, and I'll give you a practical example as well, just in a moment. So the first tool that we are going to use is ChatGPT, right? As we already discussed, the first slide that I talked about, ChatGPT, you should use it if you want to have a conversation with AI and you're not very much clear what you want to achieve. So in this case, ChatGPT will work the best for you. And also, if you are in a field which is more creative or where it's very creative field, then I think the ChatGPT will give you the best response. Again, whatever I'm talking, it's from my personal experience. It may be different for different people, but I'm just sharing my personal experience. You can try and see, maybe in your case, ChatGPT will be very good in analysis, and some other tool may not work that way, right? So each one of us will have to try and play around with the tool. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with the first tool, and I'm going to show you how we can make use of it. So just give me a second. Okay, so now you can see I'm showing the ChatGPT screen. Okay, now first thing is that I'll just quickly show you that some of the basic things that you can do with ChatGPT, right? As a hygiene factor, I will always recommend to you that whenever you are working on particular project or particular task involved, and if you feel that you're going to come back again to do more work on this, always better to make a project. On the left hand side panel, you see there's a project icon over here. So click on project and then give a name for your project. For example, I'll say this as demo or / workshop. So all the workshops that I plan to do in future, or if I plan to do demo, so all that will come over here, because then the response will be much better. Clear? So it's like a simple folder categories that we have on our laptops and desktop computers. Same way you'll make it that way. Right? That's the very first thing. Second is, again, we click on the plus icon. I'm sure most of you have already tried your hands on using image, right? It does a very decent job. Okay. Personally, I prefer using Gemini for images, and I'll show you when we reach Gemini. But right now, I'm just showing that if you are comfortable using image and if you get good output, you can try the create image option as well. The second use case is study and learn. Now, in my personal experience, what I've noticed is that most AI tools today offer this particular option, which is basically called as the guided learning, right? And this